Good day. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. We continue our series on wealth creation, sustainable wealth creation for everyone. And the aim is that I want to encourage ordinary workers to aim at becoming millionaires in their lifetime. And it is possible. I think that it was Obama who said, yes, we can. And Baumier's team was, it is possible. Let me be politically correct and say that Mahama will say, if we will reset the agenda, it is possible. From today, I am going to go a bit slowly through the steps that we have to go through. If as ordinary people, there will be a time I'll be talking about business people and setting up businesses, but I'm talking about the ordinary worker, from low income to high income persons, how they can create wealth in their own lifetime and leave a legacy for their children's children. And I will be taking my time because some of you may be totally unfamiliar with some of the principles we will be outlined. Some it will be revision, and some it will be celebration, because over the years they have followed such simple principles and made it. If you are in the latter category, my encouragement is that pass it on to your children and posterity, so that wealth creation will not become the area for a few people. Once again, let me say that we live in a country where many rich people have become rich out of wrongdoing. People say, why should you stop galamsey? The people are trying to earn a living. That is not right. You cannot say that you use a means to acquire wealth at the expense of national farms, national cocoa production, national health, and even the physical life of the many who are being poisoned by the chemicals they use. Again, sad to say, many have become rich out of corruption. The reason why public office has become such an enviable position that people will even kill their mother, do whatever, bribe their way to get it. It's not because of the salary, but because of corruption. No country can create wealth for all its people through corruption. The other day, in fact, yesterday, I was listening to the Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources, Honorable Amabua. And he said something. One of the things he said, he will have to work to increase the salary of those who work in Lands Commission. Immediately, something came to my mind. Yes, the Lands Commission people deserve a higher wage. But in Ghana, one of the highest paid people are the Ghana Revenue Authority staff. And we all know that Ghana Revenue Authority harbors probably more corrupt people than any other institution. We are dealing with a national canker. It's not a question of low salaries. And now corruption has infested not only our politicians, but the higher echelons of the public sector. In these principles, we are talking about the ordinary worker earning 1,000 cedis a month, which is very low by all standards. 2,000, even 3,000, is not much in Ghana today. But these are the people I'm aiming at, that even from that lower estate, they can make it. And the principles I'm going to talk about will be taking not more than one major thing at a time. For some academicians and those who are clever than some of us, it may seem I'm going slow, but because I want the ordinary folk to capture the spirit of world creation. Because when we shift onto the world creation paradigm as individuals, as companies, and as a nation, the sky is the limit. Let me give an example first of an individual who, by all standards, is not the highest paying staff in this country. In fact, to be exact, he is a pre-tertiary teacher. That means a secondary school teacher. And the other day I was talking with him by following these principles. One of his investment channels, he has 600,000 cedis. Do you hear me? 600,000 cedis as an ordinary teacher. In fact, this one, he has only a diploma teaching a junior high school who is now 59 years. He doesn't even have a degree. Just last week, I chanced on a young man who has been following these principles. He has worked all together for about 7 years, again as a teacher. And he had gotten his statement, one from Petra and one for Databank YPAC. And this young man of 32 and a teacher, by following these principles, already has accumulated more than 100,000. What that means is that even if he added not even a peswa, and he got an average of 15% out of his return, out of his investment, in 5 years rather, it will accumulate, compound to 200,000. In 10 years to 400,000. In 15 years to 800,000. And in 20 years, he will be a young middle-aged person in his early 40s or late 40s, having not less than 1.6 million cedis because of the power of compound interest. Therefore, I want everyone, both low income, middle income, or high income, to listen to these principles of sustainable wealth creation carefully. And today, I want to major on the power of vision in wealth creation. Do you hear me? The power of vision in wealth creation. Good old Solomon, who happens to be, by all standard, the richest person who has ever lived, had a statement in Proverbs, and he says in Proverbs 29:18, without vision, people perish. And I want to encourage you, no matter how much you have been battered in the past, or the challenges that you have and face today, to develop a financial vision, because it will propel you to greater heights. Let me use two simple but powerful examples in my own life to encourage you, not to boast, but to encourage you. At the age of 15 years, I knew that I had no chance of having normal secondary school education. I was then in grade 10, middle form 4, as we call it those days, which was terminal for those who would not go to secondary school and not likely to continue their education. At best, they may become clerks. I asked my wonderful teacher, Amwa, from Nkonya Urapon, and said, Mr. Amwa, if someone did not go to secondary school, is that the end of his education? I've shared this on many platforms, and I continue to share it because I want to encourage you. If you are where I was, it wasn't for lack of ability, because in the last 2 years, I'd gotten admission to Opokuwari, Prempeh College, Mfansipim, and Agri Memorial. Any Ghanaian knows that Mfansipim, Green Shekai, on Kwabucho Hill, is not only the first secondary school in Ghana, but one of the most excellent ones. Prempeh College, they tell me, is the only college in Ghana. And of course, Opokuwari and Agri Memorial. And yet, I couldn't go because whilst I believed that it was possible I could get a scholarship once I went there, I couldn't pay even the required peanut then admission fee. So when I asked Teacher Amwa, he just made one statement and it blew my mind. He said, no, you can't go to university. And I said, sir, how? He says, if you study on your own through correspondence course. You know, of course, I never became an engineer because my aim, if I'd gone to secondary school, was to study physics, mathematics, and additional mathematics. We called it at that time FIMAMA. I don't know whether these young people have the same terminology. Physics, maths, and maths. This was for the brainiest, and that's what I was aiming for. So my dreams seem to have been shattered, but I had another vision that if I have opportunity, I would study and go to university. To cut a long story short, I went to the university 3 full years before my mates in the 10th grade who were fortunate to go to secondary school. In fact, I finished my master's and came to teach one of them who had then gotten admission to the University of Ghana to teach them. Of course, his mates, he was in economics. Without vision, people perish. Vision is so powerful that it gives you the energy to look beyond your current situation and see further than where you are. It gives you a clear goal and purpose to live for. It gives energy to strive towards achieving the vision. And above all, it gives you the ability to stand what it takes to achieve your goals. If it's said dreams were riches, beggars will live in castles, we are not talking about just mere dreaming. We are talking about having a specific target, which will be the driving force before you are all that you do. Let me talk about my second example to encourage you. I'd spent all my life in public service, either in Ghana public service or at the Commonwealth level or at the United Nations. Of course, there are various sides of public services. Some pay you peanuts, some pay you very well. But the fact is that I spent all my life in public service, national and international. I retired as rector of GIMPA. It wasn't too bad. I was assured of some pension. However, when I was 58 years, I set up my goal. And as late as 58 years, so mind you, it's never too late. If you are saying, oh, Stephen, is déjà vu. In financial matters, the earlier you start, the better. But I said that when I retire, I'm going to work for myself. And within 10 years, I want to become a millionaire. That was a specific target. And I added a clause saying that I want to become, or a qualification, a Ghanaian millionaire. And by that I meant that I'm not going to, as in America, when all that you have, your houses, your cars, and everything else, when they take out of it, how much you owe if you are in debt, the balance determines whether you are a millionaire or not. By my Ghanaian millionaire, I mean, I can't include the house I live in Accra. It may be million or more, but I'm going to live in it. It does not buy me Kele Willy. Neither is my house in my village. In fact, if I sold my house in the village and converted it, people would say, Stephen, is there something wrong with you? What I meant was that I'm going to invest and compound it so that by the 10 years' time, I will be a millionaire. When I shared it, of course, some people were raising eyebrows. Maybe they thought I was going to be a politician. But the answer was no. When I looked at my retirement benefits and a few things, I could easily gather together about 250,000 cedis. And that, if I didn't add anything, would have compounded to $1 million in 10 years. Of course, I needed that money to build my dream house for my wife and girlfriend of 50 years this year. So, therefore, I didn't have the 250,000 available, but some to start with. And from that day, because I've committed myself to become a millionaire at the age of 70, I disciplined myself. Every money went into my investment because it gave me the enthusiasm, the energy, and the determination to achieve that by 70. Let me confess that at 70, I was not a Ghanaian millionaire, but I achieved it at 71. 1 year sleep, not too bad. When you have a vision, you are able to achieve more, and do so, I hope, zero tolerance of corruption. Now let me anchor what I'm saying in the practical terms for you. What I'm talking about financial vision is that, say, a young man who is earning a net salary of 1,000 cedis says that before, and he's say 30 years old, by the time I retire at the age of 60, besides my pension, I want to have accumulated 500,000 cedis. Specific goal. Do you know, when someone, I'm talking about actually a security man or a laborer, of course, not the one on the minimum wage. I hear that now minimum wage is about 600, but even that, I can come back to that. Let's say a typical security guard in a company. In my company, the security guards earn about 1,500 to 2,000. So therefore, I assume that the average security guard is earning 1,000. All that the person needs, if he has a clear vision of achieving 500,000 in 30 years, when he or she retires, is only 50 Ghana cedis a month. When it is invested in a channel through Databank, YPAC, or EDC, or Petra, or Old Mutual, and they get an average of 17.5% per annum, that 50 Ghana cedis a month will accumulate to more than 500,000. Tell me, There's nobody who is on 1,000 cedis net salary who cannot afford 50 Ghana cedis. But without such a vision, that 50 Ghana cedis will be blown every day or over a good meal. You can achieve more when you have set a clear vision. I will later on in my next session talk about the mathematics of it. It's arithmetic because we are talking about just compound interest. In the same note, you can set a vision. If you are 100, you can afford 100 Ghana cedis and say that, look, in 10 years, I want to accumulate 150,000, buy a land and start my own building. That is clear vision. But I like in my Millionaires Club, because in my Millionaires Club, I am encouraging you to aim high, because you need only 100 Ghana cedis a month invested in the right vehicles, and we'll be talking about the investment avenues in one of the steps. You become a millionaire in 30 years. In my school, I'm insisting that every teacher should become a millionaire in 20 years by investing 500 Ghana cedis, for which the school provides provident fund of 250, and every teacher, which is less than 10% of their salary, will have to contribute 250, so that in 20 years, I want every teacher in my school to be a millionaire. And I want you to join me, wherever you are, in my Millionaires Club. Not so much a club we are going to meet, but someone who will be following this series and whom I'll be reaching with occasion when I finish the series, maybe every month sending you a newsletter to encourage you, because you too can become a millionaire. I talk to the managers, I'm talking about the principals and vice principals, and I say that every principal should become a millionaire in 10 years. Yes, 10 years. And I've put in a certain clause, even though it is not compulsory, because in our school, we give you, if you're a principal, you have your basic salary as a principal teacher, and you have a principal allowance. And I'm saying that if they invest in their principal allowance of 3,000 cedis a month, plus their provident fund, you will need only 3,211 to become a millionaire in 10 years. And I'm encouraging them to do so. And the advices and those in the second rank, I say, you can manage 1,000 if you determine to do so. And that will make you a millionaire in 16 years. All that I'm saying is that this requires specific goal and vision of what you want to be financially in 10, 20, 30 years. Because without a vision, you spend your money every month, you will budget on your total salary. That means you have an income at the end of the month, at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, you are zero poor. Please join me to have a financial vision. After today, say that in 10 years, this is what I'm going to accumulate. I will be sharing with you how you are going to calculate it, but have a vision, and you can start from today that you are going to set aside 10% of your income, whatever it is, whether you are a market woman or a teacher. And with that vision, you will end up your life when all the health bills are growing poorer. Shalom, and may the Lord be with you as we go to the next step. The first step is having a financial vision. The second is basic financial knowledge. Next week, meet me on ZFM 101.9 every Saturday morning. And of course, if you miss that one, you have me on YouTube. Shalom, and the Lord be with you.